We're going to start now the Martin County Board of County Commissioners, Districts 2 and 4. And I would like to introduce the candidates. To my far right, we have current County Commissioner in District 2, Ed Fielding. Stacy Hetherington is seated next to him. She is listed on the Republican line as well. Ron Rose has no party affiliation, and John Shearbaum also listed as a Republican. In District 4, we have Barbara Cloudis, and we have the current County Commissioner in District 4, Sarah Hurd, both of whom are listed on the Republican line. We're going to begin with opening statements like we did with the last forum. And we will start with Mr. Fielding. You have up to 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. Ed Fielding, I'm currently your County Commissioner for District 2. Tell me, is that too much for abbreviation? We okay? Currently County Commissioner for District, you're turning it up, don't turn it up. For District 2. I'm a native Floridian. My folks came here quite a long time ago. They moved as a result of an urban renewal project in South Georgia. When Sherman went in and burned everything, and so they moved south. I've been a resident. I was born in Manatee County, which is very similar to Martin County. Not now, but back then it was. What's happened is Manatee County has changed. Now they have developments in every tomato field. They've got libraries and schools and fire stations from the central urban area all the way out to the county line. We don't have that. And the reason we don't have that is we have a comprehensive growth management plan that gives us guidance and allows us to address those kind of situations so we don't just have a decision made by preference, but our decisions are made by codification, by the rules. And the rules say what we want to do is minimize our costs, we want to minimize our taxes, we want to centralize our development, we want to have things in areas that allow us to be efficient and to be economical. So Martin County is very different. Even though where I grew up was very similar, all of those similarities have changed because Manatee County no longer keeps control or guidance over the growth and development, but we do. That's the ideal situation. That's why we're here. You know, you may have come here for jobs or schools or families or friends, but you stayed because you liked how this was developed.
Thank you, Mr. Fielding.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry.
Ms. Hetherington.
Good evening. Thank you, Women League of Voters, for having us. And I'm Stacy Hetherington, and I'm a native of Martin County. My family grew up in Martin County. I'm raising 2 sons in Martin County. And I live here, not because I have to, because I love it here. I went to schools, public schools in Martin County. I graduated from the University of Florida with a bachelor's degree. Originally went to University of Florida to seek a degree in marine biology, but decided I wanted to pursue journalism, marketing, public relations. I have degrees in insurance and real estate. I live here because I love it. I raised my family here because I love it. I want the best for this county, and that means balance. It means bringing our comprehensive plan, supporting our river. I hydroslided in the river when I grew up, and we used to fish with a cane pole in the St. Lucie Canal. I want that for my 2 sons, Van and Zane. I want them to be able to go to school here. I want them to have an environment where they can live, work, play, where we support our river, where we support our jobs, where we support our residents. There's no place on earth that I'd rather live, and I'm here because I care. I'm not a politician. I don't have any fancy speeches, but I will do what's right for Martin County. I will do it because I care about my 2 sons. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rose.
My name is Ron Rose. I'm a resident here of Martin County and have been for many decades. And I want to thank the American Association for University Women and the League of women voters for holding this forum. One of the reasons why I entered the race, even though I'm not in the primary election of this election cycle, I would be in the general election, is because I believe that there's been, the growth issue has put jobs and the economy at odds. And that even with the current commission majority candidates that are sitting here today, that are the incumbents, all of the candidates opposing them are labeled immediately as for faster development views, or having faster development views. And what I want to state is that couldn't be further from the truth. I come from a strong background of tourism, and I can assure that everybody sitting in this room that if you change the feel of Martin County, if you do anything that would take away that old Florida feel, or that you wouldn't do things to clean up the river, you're going to kill tourism. And tourism is the lifeblood of this community. Tourism is the lifeblood of Martin County. Stop?
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum.
Good evening. My name is John Shearbaum. I'm the candidate for Martin County Commission, District Number 2. And I want to thank the League for having us here tonight, having a wonderful time. I live in Stewart, graduate of Ashland University in Ohio. The reason that I'm running is the majority of the county commissioners have made decisions, bad decisions, that have cost the taxpayers of Martin County hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Additionally, these bad decisions have hurt businesses, small businesses and big businesses. Now, we're all for having a nice, clean lagoon. We're all for having a nice, clean river. But the people that hide behind those issues as a smokescreen and don't address the real problems of Martin County leave a lot to be desired. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cloudis.
Thank you for hosting this important event. My name is Barbara Cloudis, and I'm probably the most unlikely candidate up here. I'm a mom. I raised 6 children. But some people have told me that makes me the most ideal candidate. I have 13 grandchildren, and when I retired to Hope Sound about 6 years ago, I was already in love with Martin County. My brother had lived here for decades. My son already lived in Hope Sound with his wife and 2 daughters. So it was a natural progression for me. After I was here for a couple of years, I started a newspaper, drawing on my own background as a journalist. And it was to support the small businesses in Hope Sound. It's grown. It's now called Martin County Currents. You may have seen it, you may not. But that endeavor took me into a lot of businesses, organizations, and homes. And that's where I found out there was a major disconnect between the commission majority and the everyday Martin County taxpayer. That's you and me. And that's why I'm running.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sarah Hurd. When I ran for office for the first time in 2002, I had a very simple, narrowly focused platform. My first priority was the rivers, restoring the health of our rivers. My second priority was a comprehensive plan. It had been shredded into non-existence by the existing commission at that time. My goal was to restore the protections of the comprehensive plan, to introduce fiscal conservation into the commission, and to ensure that there was accountability. I am very proud of the record that I've created over the last 12 years, doing the very things that I promised to do, representing the public's interest. My opponent also has a record. She has a publication, and she's written her opinions in that publication on numerous issues in the county. She supported extreme water sports. She supported Hope Grove. She supported the truck stop. She doesn't support code enforcement. She doesn't support compliance with the comprehensive plan. So there is a very clear choice that voters will have in the election in District 4. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have the first question, please?
What expertise would you bring to the office of commissioner? What expertise would you bring to the office of commissioner?
Ms. Hetherington?
What I bring to the office of a county commission is a desire to be in Martin County, to have a balance of leadership. We all want the lagoon to be healthy. We want to be able to live, work, and play, but we need to be able to balance that. We need to be able to plan ahead, not by crisis management planning like we're doing now. We look and we say, inlet dredging, we don't have a plan. There's a lot of things, public safety, we're lacking a long-term plan. Our comprehensive growth management plan, if we want to look long-term, long-range, and we want to protect the quality of life, we need to start mapping out a plan of where we've been, how we got here, where we're going, and where we want to be.
Thank you. Mr. Rose?
I have a strong background in business and representing the business community, and I believe that's been the business community has been left out of many of what's happened in the current commission majority. I think I've been consensus builder. I think that I can bring opposing points of view together. I can stop the us against them mentality that's gripping the Martin County Commission, and I think that I have a strong desire to put tourism in a position in Martin County to be respected and promoted. And I also have had a long background in public service, and I care about Martin County. I care about its beauty. I care about clean waters, and I care about supporting local business.
Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum?
I think the best qualification that I have is that I'm not a politician. I've got 15 years of more experience in international management consulting. I've been a private business owner. I've been a volunteer in many different capacities throughout my life. I've been a volunteer firefighter, EMT, EMS, fire police, JC, and so on. The other thing is that I'm a real Republican, and my vote on the commission is not for sale. I'm the only candidate running in this race that it does not have the backing of a special interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding?
Proudly, I can say I have a backing of a special interest. It happens to be citizens, but I consider them a very special interest, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. What I can see, my background is banking, finance. I've run a farm. I've been involved in real estate development. My training of MIT, I have a master's in management science from MIT. How I've put that in play, we recently did some refinancing for our utilities, and I was able to save a few $1 million on that refinancing. We refinanced some major equipment, saved a few $100,000 on that. So it's not just conversation, but it's actually doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd?
I have 12 years of experience in Martin County, so I think that that's an advantage. I bring objectivity, accountability, integrity, reliability. I'm an eager student to fully understand all the issues. I'm thorough, I'm focused, I'm fair. I will have always put the public's interests first. My experience also has made me very familiar with how government works. As an example, through the relationships that we've created Martin County will receive over $100 million this year in funding for the rivers from the state and federal governments. The Stewart News called me the one true fiscal conservative on the board, and I'm very proud of that.
Thank you. Ms. Cloudis.
I manage a multi-million-dollar manufacturing firm. I launched a very small business. But perhaps the thing that qualifies me most is that I was a journalist that researches and shut down a coal mine for polluting the waters of West Virginia. I have a deep love and commitment to the environment. I paid a tremendously high price for my beliefs, and that's the same kind of thing that I would bring to Martin County. That research means walking in other people's shoes, in their property, in meeting with them, in their homes, in their businesses, and that's what I will bring to Martin County.
Thank you. May I have the next question, please?
What are the major challenges facing Martin County? The major challenges facing Martin County.
Okay, we're going to start with District 4, and we're going to start with Ms. Cloudis.
There are so many challenges facing Martin County, it's hard to decide on one. We've got All Aboard Florida. We have not had good leadership, even though we have the most impacts. We must address that issue immediately. We have a river that is impacted by our local stormwater drainage, not just the Lake Okeechobee discharges. We must make that river a priority. Our small business climate, our relationships with our cities must be improved. We can't accomplish what we want to accomplish as a community unless we're working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd.
Obviously, the single biggest issue in Martin County is the health of the rivers. So another huge challenge that we have is making sure that All Aboard Florida does not happen. We just finished our budget hearings, and that includes 72% of Martin County's budget is eaten up by public safety. 72%. All the other departments receive the balance of that. It's a ratio that has to shift in order to be accountable, in order to be sustainable. And lastly, we have some very, very crumbling infrastructure. Former commission majorities neglected our existing infrastructure in favor of building new infrastructure for developers when developers should have been paying for that infrastructure from which they were going to benefit. So they redirected. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rose.
Water quality is the number one issue in Martin County, cleaning up the rivers, protecting the environment. There is no benefit whatsoever to have All Aboard Florida come through Martin County. So anything that could be done to stop All Aboard Florida from going through Martin County, we all need to work on. There's a lack of building a consensus in Martin County and between the business community and environmentalists. And we need to work together to try to find common ground, and nobody's doing that. I believe there's mismanagement in the county, or we wouldn't be having all of these costs that are coming up. And our taxes are going up year after year after year. Our property taxes, now the sales tax, tourist tax. I mean, the majority that's running the county commission right now, it's tax, tax, tax.
Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum.
Well, again, candidates are hiding behind the issues that we all agree on, and that being we want clean rivers and we don't want All Aboard Florida. The main issue, other than those that I believe, has to do with the taxes. Because of the bad business management practices and bad business decisions made by the majority of the council members. Right now, we're facing the possibility of a sales tax increase, which you good folks are going to have to vote on, and also an increase in the real estate tax. Anybody could have seen this coming, and there were things that the commission could have done to head these things off, but they chose to ignore it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding?
Would you repeat please, the question, please?
Repeat the question.
Major challenges facing Martin County.
3 or 4, as I see it. And yes, it's quite easy to make assertions when you don't have very limited information, but I'll try to give you accurate information. Our roads and stormwater are extremely important, and that's why we'll be coming to you with that request, that we be able to deal with that over a period of time with a sales tax referendum, which allows us to accumulate money from those that are outside the area as well as those are here. The accumulated problem was over a period of time, and it was a neglect, and it was a misallocation. But that's where we are. We got to start with where we are. So that's significant. Our libraries, we want to address how we have our libraries open more often. In the current budget, we approved additional monies to go for books, so that's going to be a welcome. Our water quality is an overwhelming problem. I formed the Indian River Lagoon Counties Collaborative. That's 5 counties that are on the lagoon. We've come together. We're addressing those. Thank you. Did I see the 3rd second?
Thank you. Ms. Hetherington?
I believe there are a number of real challenges we have. We have a number of real attributes. I think we all agree on the challenges. We don't want all aboard Florida. We want a clean and healthy river. We want a viable economy. We want a place that we could all live. The biggest challenge I think we have in Martin County is listening and finding solutions. Looking at each other and saying, majority, minority. You are the majority. I am the majority. The people that vote are the majority. One thing I can tell you is I would listen to the majority. Our real problems are not that we disagree on the important issues of Martin County, it's that we haven't sought to find solutions for them.
Thank you. May I have the next question, please?
Do you consider our comprehensive plan regulations on growth as a detriment or a benefit to residents, and why? Do you consider our comprehensive plan regulations on growth as a detriment or a benefit to residents, and why?
We'll start with Mr. Shearbaum.
That's an excellent question. For the most part, the comprehensive plan is good, but it's gone too far. Issues that actually hurt Martin County. It hurts business. It hurts new business in Martin County. Perfect example, there's a lady that rents sports equipment in a commercial marine area. She has to take her equipment home every night because even though there's all kinds of other buildings there, she can't put a shed up within 75 feet of the water. You know, that's insane. Also, you have a restaurant down in Hobe Sound that's being forced to put in a upland preserve that was totally secret when they bought the property because the county never told them about it and it was never recorded on the deed. Yes, there's good points in the comp plan, but there's also some items that do need to be fixed.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's essential, and every one of us sitting here realizes it's essential, and that's why we're here. So that's what's the difference. That's what has established the difference. It's also essential, and it has helped minimize our capital costs and our taxation because we centralize our infrastructure developments, and so we know where those things are going to go, and we don't have to just run lines and roads and sewers everywhere all over the county, but rather we can address those areas where people are going to be. The rules are established so that we all might have justice. That justice means that we're all treated equitably. It's not what I say or somebody else says, it's what the rules say, and we're all treated fairly by the rules. Zoning gives us a two-way street. Zoning gives the rights that you or I might have to develop our property, but it also gives rights to what you can't do to me. So our rules are essential, and that's why we're here, and that's why we love Martin County.
Thank you. Ms. Hetherington.
Our comp plan is essential. It is the glue that binds Martin County together, and it always has been. It's always been a very strong guiding principle of Martin County, and that's why we are here today. And I believe that we have to support our comp plan, and we have to support it in a legally responsible and ethical manner, because if we choose to make amendments and changes to it that weaken it, then we are worse off, and the glue gets less and less that binds us together. So I support a very strong comp plan, because that is why Martin County is such a great place to live. But I think we have to be cognizant of what is in that comp plan, how we've got here, and the long-range planning.
Thank you. Mr. Rose.
I think the comprehensive plan for Martin County is a benefit. And a lot of that benefit can be a compliment to Maggie Hirchella. And I think it's the blueprint for planned growth in this county, and that if there needs to be amendments to the comp plan, it's brought before the county commission and their citizen input, and the county commission can decide the validity of the comp plan amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd.
Yeah, the comprehensive plan is the heart of our community. It's why we're different in Florida, and it's why we live here. It provides protections for our rivers. It requires a contained urban boundary. It protects our resources. It keeps our taxes low. It mandates our 4-story height limit. It creates our levels of service for roads, for parks, for libraries. In short, the comprehensive plan is responsible for our high quality of life in Martin County.
Thank you. Ms. Cloudis.
I very much believe in the value of a comprehensive growth management plan, particularly in Martin County. I was born and raised in Homestead, Miami-Dade County. It was Dade County then, and it was called Miami. It does not even vaguely resemble what it was when I was a child. There is no way that I would let that ever happen here in Martin County. And it is the comprehensive plan that would prevent that from happening. But I have to say, we need a comp plan that does not beat business into the ground. It should not be used like a club, because yes, it prevents infrastructure from getting out of control, but it also must foster a vibrant community and healthy businesses that will help keep the tax burden off the backs of our residents.
Thank you. May I have the next question?
How would you balance land development plans with the concerns of citizens? How would you balance land development plans with the concerns of citizens?
Ms. Cloudis.
Land development plans, what means developers. That's what you're talking about. Individual landowners who have a plan for their land. What we want are good citizens who are developing their land. We want growth that fits the culture of Martin County. We want to protect their rights at the same time that we protect what we have in Martin County.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd.
The reason that most of us are here, those of us who elected to come here are here because of the way that Martin County looks, because of the wide open green spaces, because of the extraordinary regard that we have for our natural resources, how we protect our neighborhoods from incompatible development. Ms. Cloudis mentioned that Miami-Dade used to be nice. Yes, it was. Of course it was. It was a lovely place to live, 80 years ago. Brevard Broward was a lovely place at one time. Palm Beach County was a lovely place at one time, until 3 out of 5 commissioners decided to change their comprehensive plan to allow the changes that made those counties the overdeveloped places that they are now.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding?
Yes, ma'am. Would you repeat the question, please?
How would you balance land development plans with the concerns of citizens?
Well, I think we do have a wonderful opportunity to show the difference. I mean, it's not a flip of the coin. It's not let's take him out to lunch or let's give him a campaign contribution. But we deal with land development and citizens based upon what are the rules. What are the rules? And so our rules are very specific, and they tell us where we are. In fact, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen next to me. Is somebody going to come in and put in a gas station, or are they going to come in and put in a restaurant? I live in an area that's been defined by zoning and by land use, so I don't have to worry about those things. And that's why Martin County is different under the current majority. Under previous, it changed at a whim. So, but under the current, it's pretty firm. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hetherington?
Our land development plan is guided by our comp plan. Our comp plan is strong because we have built a strong comp plan. It's different when I don't believe that things have been approved on a whim. I think that we have had very, very strong guidance. Of my history of living here, we've had strong guidance. But there are developments, there are projects that fit within our guidance plan, and we say we still don't want them there. If it's zoned single-family homes, and now condos are allowable, if we want to change that, then it has to be long-term planning. So we have a comp plan, we have land development rules, but what we're facing right now is when we go to approve the project, we don't want to play by the rules anymore. We want to change the rules.
Thank you. Mr. Rose?
Can you hear me okay? I kind of consider myself as a born-again environmentalist. And I think that I think I have a plan, I think I have an answer that can bring diverse opposing interests together. And it's called, and I'd love to see Martin County, whether I would get elected or not, really focus on this. It's called a restoration economy. And it's an economy that restores wetlands. It's a $10 billion industry across this country. There's all kinds of jobs and business that can be created in restoration. We see it happening right now throughout Martin County. We see old buildings being restored. We've seen shopping centers being torn down and new ones being built. We need to respect our urban services boundary, but there's a lot that can be done within the restoration, rebuilding, and cleaning things up. And there's a huge industry there.
Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum?
The type of development that I'd like to see is in the business world. As I drive around Martin County, I see a lot of empty commercial space, empty mini warehouses, empty storefronts. I'd like to see new businesses be established here in Martin County. Businesses that sell a good or service outside the county that bring money into the county to help the prosperity of our county. If we can improve the business climate here in this county, then it's going to ease the tax burden on all of us. If there were to be housing development, which I'm really not in favor of, but there were 3 questions that have to be answered. Number 1, will the infrastructure handle it? Number 2, will it be a net drain or a net gain on the county services? And number 3 is, what is the benefit to Martin County for that development? Thank you.
Thank you. I now have a question from the audience, And it is, what are your goals for the CRAs, the Community Redevelopment Agencies? What are your goals for the Community Redevelopment Agencies? And we will start with Ms. Hetherington.
If we look to Golden Gate Stormwater Project that was just created, there was an article written in Smart Growth, a publication, saying, although not your typical CRA improvements, what a benefit to Golden Gate, because how it revitalized that neighborhood by revitalizing the infrastructure. It encouraged business owners and residents to invest in their own properties. So my goals for the CRA would be to take our funding for the CRA and use it like it was used in Golden Gate, and encourage the funding that is used in the CRA to be matched and to be used by residents and private business owners to revitalize our neighborhoods. That was the intention of the CRAs.
Thank you. Mr. Rose.
What concerns me about this CRAs today is a lack of citizen involvement, which was a critical aspect of their creation. And also the funding that is raised within each of the CRA areas is now kind of being pulled into supporting maybe one area, which isn't a benefit to Johnson Beach, isn't a benefit to Indiantown. So there's probably, but the other thing that I would agree with is that the CRAs were an advisory board, and I have no problem whatsoever with the county commission assuming the responsibility of serving on the CRA, because the CRA was an advisory board. But I think today it kind of lacks citizen involvement.
Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum.
Ms. Hetherington, I think you need to go back and talk to those folks in Golden Gate again. They're real upset about the CRA conditions in that community. That being said, I visualize the CRA as working in partnership with the county. There needs to be well-established goals, well-established guidelines as to what the expectation is of the CRA. The CRA plays a very important part because they are local folks. They know what's best for their individual community. And the reason that they've lost a lot of interest is because in spite of their best efforts, the county has done everything to kind of say, well, you know, what you guys say, what you guys want really doesn't mean anything. You know, we're the boss and we're gonna do what's right. So the people have lost interest in the CRA. It's plain and simple. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding.
Yeah, I'm going to try to start off with some information. That was previous was vacuous. CR Community Redevelopment Agencies, yes, the county has come in to reorient that. It wasn't going in a very efficient way. Some individuals specifically were benefited and communities were not. There is a community involvement. It's called the Neighborhood Advisory Committee. Those are functioning, those are advisory, and they are very important in the group. So what's happening is that monies are created through what's called TIF, tax increment financing, and that shucks. So that's monies that accrue because of, it's okay, because of increases in values. And so then those monies are available, but sometimes they're in such small increments that it's very hard to get a project that has any validity, any value to the community. So there is discussion that we might pull monies together so that we could do more significant projects and address some of these larger problems, some of them which happen to be sewer and water. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd.
Thank you. First of all, they need to be the proper sizes. There are thousands of acres of undeveloped land in Martin County that are included in our existing community redevelopment areas. So we need to encourage redevelopment, not new development. We need to have accountability in our community redevelopment areas. We need to be able to measure our return of investment to make sure that the millions of dollars in taxpayer funding are wisely spent.
Thank you. Ms. Cloudis.
My opponent has targeted the CRAs to dismantle them. She did a good job of doing that by abolishing the Community Redevelopment Agency, one of her first acts as commission chair, and firing all of the Neighborhood Advisory Committee members, which were predominantly residents, not business owners as she had claimed. This is one of the most successful programs we've ever had. It is absolutely the very best in government because it is bottom up. It represents what the people in those neighborhoods want, and they have an opportunity to tell the commission what it is they want. I would be dedicated to revitalizing those neighborhoods because they are an important part of the culture and everything that's special about Martin County.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we're going to move to closing statements with Ms. Hurd.
Thank you very much. It's been an extraordinary pleasure and honor serving you for the last 12 years. I certainly look forward to serving you for another 4 and would appreciate your vote. I just want to say that I didn't abolish the CRAs. They're alive and well, and the neighborhood advisory committees are alive and well. I've done nothing to abolish those things. So you have a clear choice in District 4, and I would appreciate your support on August 26th. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cloudis, you have up to a minute and a half.
All right. She abolished the Independent Community Redevelopment Agency, but I am not going to go into those details. I will tell you that I will dedicate myself to ethical and open government. That will include an open door policy for you. I will operate in the sunshine. You will not have to worry about me representing anybody but the residents of Martin County, not any special interests, and not the 1% or less than 1% in the county. I will save tax dollars for you. I will improve our business climate. I will definitely revitalize our 7 historic communities, and I will fix our rivers. 12 years is long enough. It's time for a change.
Thank you. Mr. Shearbaum.
I want to thank the league and all the other good folks here for coming out tonight and for providing us with this great forum. As you leave tonight, the one thing I want you to take home with you is to remember that I'm the only candidate up here who is not backed by a special interest. My vote is not for sale. My special interest group are you folks, the voters of Martin County. I'm also the only candidate that doesn't really talk in bumper stickers and platitudes and things like that. I want to talk about the issues. I want to address the issues. Yeah, you know, we all agree on the river. We all agree on all aboard Florida. Okay, we have some disagreements on the taxation. We have some disagreements on the comp plan. And I think those things have become very clear tonight. And I believe, you know, that I'm the one that's going to listen to you. I'm the one that's going to work for you. You're my special interest group. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rose.
I entered this race because I really felt that Commissioner Fielding has been a disappointment. And I remember looking at the literature in the 2010 campaign, and on his literature he said that he would support local business and support a diverse economy. And I've seen nothing at all that he's done to support local business or diversify the economy. One thing that concerns me about 750, which is a bad idea and Martin County's pulled out of it, but on their website, one of the partners is a Martin County CRA and one of the executive board members is Ed Fielding. That concerns me if that's accurate. And Mr. Fielding had an opportunity to wipe out septic tanks along Indian River Drive in Jensen Beach so they would not leak into the Indian River. And they voted that down. And I think that he has low poll numbers. He doesn't work to build consensus. I will But just remember that in this election, if you're going to support my candidacy, that vote comes November 4th. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Hetherington.
Thank you. The difference I bring to Martin County is I don't have, I have walked the walk, I have grown up, I have lived here, I have gone to schools, I have been a mother of children that go to schools, I have parents that are retired, I have friends that need jobs, I have sons that want to fish in our river, and when my son Van catches a fish in our river, I tell him, throw it back because you can't eat it. So we need to address I have a tolerance, 0% discharges. We need to start looking at finding solutions. We have important issues. I have been on this community. I have walked the walk. I want to represent you. I want to represent a balance to Martin County. Our current incumbent has not listened to what the voters wanted. They have not listened, he has not listened to families, to long-term residents, to our needs. I would represent all citizens, and my only special interest would be my sons, their future, our future, and the future of the residents of Martin County, because I've lived here a lifetime, I'd like to live here another lifetime, and I'd like my children to have the opportunity to live here their lifetime if they choose.
Thank you. Mr. Fielding.
I think we have wonderful opportunities here in Martin County. A number of things have happened recently. We have pulled together the 5 counties that are on the Indian River Lagoon to operate together as a collaborative. We're approaching our problems as a region. We're approaching financing as a region. FDEP, the Congress, Bill Nelson, Senator, is going to be with us tomorrow. So we are pulling together a group of people that will help us address the problems in the Indian River Lagoon. They didn't just happen overnight. They didn't happen November of 2010 when I became a commissioner. They've been happening over a period of number of years, but we are addressing those problems, not with the fairy tale hope that they're going to be solved in the immediate future, but we're going to start dealing with the various causes of those problems, which is, sure, the Okeechobee Basin is a significant cause. The septics are a cause. The stormwater runoff is a cause. We have the air. Actually, nitrogen comes out of the air. So there are a number of causes that we need to try to address in order to make our lagoon and our estuary healthy. And I'll appreciate your support August the 26th and very much ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I close this forum, I just want to point out that we have videotaped tonight's forum, and we did videotape the forums on Monday, and they will be posted on the League of Women Voters of Martin County's website by August 1st. If anyone missed one, or if you have friends who would like to see these, they just need to search for our website, and they'll be there. Now I would like you to please join me in thanking the candidates for coming tonight with a round of applause.